we can get into that, but like I think that the game has been way more maligned than it should be. Like I think people are sleeping on this game so hard. It's like one of the best games of the year. It just doesn't happen to look next gen, which I think is fine. I think that's okay.
How much? Let me jump in on that because, like, how much of that do you feel that there are so many really good games that we're all enjoying right now that you're it's
are
just
there
overshadowed?
Are there, Brian? Are there so many?
Do you not enjoy PalWorld, Enshrouded? I'm loving Dragon's Dogma 2. That's what I can't seem to put down right now.
None of those three. Yeah, no.
Helldivers,
Enshrouded is just not really
Reborn.
my cup of tea. I mean, I see a lot of people enjoying that, but that's sort of in that Rust, Valheim type of vein. And we talked about that when we were covering PalWorld. I don't think we ever put Enshrouded under the lens that much, but we talked about Nightingale and we talked about PalWorld, and like I just don't really gravitate towards those like survival type games. It's just not really the type of gameplay loop that I'm looking for.
Fair.
But Enshrouded does seem like a good one. Nightingale and PalWorld don't really feel finished. Like I think PalWorld got carried by the pocket monster like Pokemon thing. Like if that wasn't in that game, it would just be an awful unfinished survival game. But like they know who their target audience was.
Because like literally that game is like, if my kid, like we limit screen time in the house. Like we have, just like when we were growing up, like Saturday morning cartoons, and like there's a block after after school or whatever that's available, but it's not all the time. But if they had the choice, if my kids had the ability to choose this for themselves, they'd be playing PalWorld 24/7 365. Like it is the, can we play
but if it wasn't Pokemon, nobody would give a crap, right? Like I mean,
that's the magic of it, right?
I think it's a gimmick is what it is, but I mean
there's a lot of aspects about it that I think are like a little like, guys, come on. Like you can
the slave labor
and enslave them, and I'm like, but I do think it speaks to this want for a more mature Pokemon. Like, how many years do we have to like play characters that obviously aren't 10 years old, but like the game just goes, okay, yeah, they're these 10 years old kids, we're going to throw them out into the world, and they got to solve like geo world problems while saving the world and fighting gang wars. And it's just like, that was cool when we were kids, but the generation that grew up with Pokemon grew up. And they want something a little more complex, a little more challenging, that also harkens back to that nostalgia.
But even the kids also can play this game. It's not so overwhelming that, like my 5-year-old is like, understands the concepts and it's like, oh, I'm building all these things. And so like we've seen with Minecraft and like Roblox, there's a lot of like creativity that they can kind of just play in this space. So even if they're not like actively working on the objectives, like I have two
little brothers. I have two little brothers that are in that like 5 and 6 range. And they are so quick with technology. It's actually scary.
Yeah.
And I think that's just like kids with tech. They're growing up in it. We had to learn all of it as it like was evolving. These kids are already in the deep end and they're just picking it up. And I think that's also speaks to you can make more difficult games now. Like you don't have to worry about kids being like overwhelmed because they get it.